Long ball number 2 here for Wednesday, March 5th. News broke early this morning that the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup, being held in North America, don't you forget, will break with tradition and have a Super Bowl-style halftime show, says FIFA President Gianni Infantino. In a quote from the FIFA president, I can confirm the first ever halftime show at a FIFA World Cup in New York, New Jersey. No details have been given by FIFA yet, but Infantino says that Coldplay will help advise FIFA to produce the show and also a so-called Times Square takeover during the final weekend.
I don't know, man. I am torn. Like, I don't make any apologies for a lot of American cultural stuff when it comes to sports. Like, the NFL is the NFL. You don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy it. You don't have to watch it. You can choose to opt out because it's too corporate or it's too focused on entertainment over sort of sporting merit or whatever. I don't know. If you have those opinions, you're welcome to them. At the same time, this is soccer and it's different and it feels like it's supposed to be different. And here's Johnny Infantino deciding that with a World Cup coming to America, the best thing to do is to line up the culture, the entertainment with America. I don't know. I looked it up because I know this is not the first time that a global or European soccer event has brought in a big halftime thing, right? I know that he's saying
Champions League has performances. I'll never forget Dua Lipa at the Champions League when Liverpool was there.
Yeah. I'm seeing this from a couple months ago. I don't know if this is confirmed. It says Linkin Park is going to do the Champions League halftime this year. Is that true? That can't be true, right?
That would be surprising because they're on like their third lead singer and haven't necessarily been, broadly mainstream in quite some time.
They haven't been relevant in 20 years, Linkin Park. What are we doing here? I mean, I know people have fond memories of some of their music. I've moved on age and maturity wise from Linkin Park, but what is that all about? So again, this is this thing of like, are we Americanizing everything? And is Johnny, look, this does fit with Johnny though. Like Johnny will sell out anything. He'll sell out for anything. Like he's going to go and jump into bed with the Saudis when it comes to the money they're pumping into the game. Obviously, we have Qatar and Qatar, or whatever you want to call it. He's more than happy to cozy up to authoritarian power when it benefits FIFA or when he sees a path. It was even before Johnny took over from Sepp Blatter that it seemed pretty clear the only way FIFA was going to get the World Cups that they wanted is if they signed up countries that were run by authoritarian regimes or had restrictive laws or basically allowed them to just push things through without any sort of democratic upheaval. And look, it's hard to argue that 2026 isn't on that level somewhat in some regards. So although there are complications here, and it's going to be very interesting to see how some of the things that are happening in our country, not to make this about politics, impact the ability of people to travel to the World Cup in 2026. That news has been coming out. I think there's a big story at The Athletic about potential visa issues, and obviously when you cut back on the consular staff around the world, it makes it harder for people to go get the visas so they can come to the World Cup, and some of them already have their tickets. So I don't know what's going on with all of this. World Cup halftime show. I mean, if it's not Kendrick Lamar, it's crap. Let's just say that. Let's just say it that way.
Do you think European football supporters feel they want to be more like me and less like you in regards to the Americanization of the game here? Okay, so your squint makes me think that you don't remember your Linkin Park lyrics, so no worries on that.
I don't. My Linkin Park, those lyrics maybe took up space in my head for a couple of years. I wasn't a super fan, and now they've been pushed out by other things. So yeah, I'm sorry, Rob, that I didn't follow you on that journey into the lyrical genius of Linkin Park.
Yeah, that hard squint made me realize that you did not know what I was talking about. But further note, it's coming up in the chat, and
Baldwin was with you. He was with you. He followed along. He understood what that reference was. Good job, bro. Good job.
We need a DJ to spruce it up too, and have a little background beats with. Would you be the screaming guy or the rapping guy?
I'd be the rapping guy for sure. Yeah, I'd be the Shinoda of the situation. Is what I would say. Yeah.
But back on topic, no details have been given by FIFA or Infantino about whether the World Cup final will have an extended halftime interval to accommodate the show, which
Isn't
is
that the
an
thing?
important note.
Isn't that the thing that bothers you maybe most about this? Like, okay, put on a show, whatever. I mean, we're all accustomed to the way the Super Bowl halftime show works, and some people center their viewing parties around the halftime show or around the commercials. Obviously, no. Please, Johnny, no commercials. Please, Johnny, no commercials. I don't know how he could do it, but we wouldn't put it past him to try to figure out a way to bring more money into FIFA. No commercials. But yeah, halftime is the perfect length. It's just enough time to kind of reset my brain, grab something, go to the bathroom if I'm watching on television. We don't need an extended halftime. Don't make me sit around and wait. The game is already short enough, which is a good thing, right? Because as Americans, we recognize our sports take entirely too long to play. That's why we're constantly changing rules around them to make the game shorter. Don't extend halftime and make this a longer thing.
In the chat, Angus says, I wonder how the field conditions will be affected after a large production on the field, which is a concern. And then even in the Super Bowl, as it is, Americans and the players that, know that's coming, know it's a part of the game, they still complain about it. And that's like kind of built into the Super Bowl now. And it still kind of throws them off because athletes of all stripes are very schedule and routine oriented. And you throw that off a little bit and it can kind of like mess up the preparation and the focus on the game. And I'm curious, obviously soccer players aren't used to, what is it, 15 minutes now is the standard halftime? And, what if that goes to 20, 25, maybe that messes up their kind of a halftime. Because usually the players, they go to the bathroom, get a little bit of a talk, catch their breath, and then they're back out there essentially.
Yeah, I would say also, FIFA obviously makes a big deal about how you can't have artificial surfaces if you're hosting the World Cup. And Seattle's going to put down grass and all this stuff, right? We know that those those are things, right? You're going to have to find ways to put in natural grass surfaces in buildings that are typically home to artificial surfaces. And if you have natural grass and you bring in some big stage or you bring in, 1,000 dancers or whatever the show might look like, who knows what that does to the surface? And this game is more than any other sport. The surface is critical to the quality of the game.
This might be a silly suggestion, but what if those dancers have those spike shoes for aeration, and so they can be on the field, spiking little holes in the field, and they can regrass it during the show as they're performing?
I don't think that's how that works, but I appreciate your creative thinking, Rob. I'm not a groundskeeper myself. I'm barely able to take care of my home lawn, so I have no idea if that would work or not.
Yeah, I feel either way. I'm just trying to bring an outside of the box American spirit to the World Cup.
Ingenuity. That's what we're known for. Industry and ingenuity, Rob. I appreciate it.